Hi guys, it's Thomasina. Welcome back to my channel. So about a month ago, I had someone ask me a really cool question that no one has asked me in the past, surprisingly, but she asked me how to make connections and how to network in the modeling industry. Surprisingly, like I said, no one has ever asked me that question. It's always like how to become a model or like how to book photo shoots or like how to do this, how to do that, but never how to connect with other people. But that's actually a key part to one's success in the industry. You know, they have all these sayings like your network is your net worth. It's not what you know, but who you know. There's a reason why these sayings exist. Who you surround yourself with and who you socialize with and who you know can play a major part in how successful you are in the industry. So with that being said, that's what this video is going to be about. So if you're interested in learning more, keep watching this video. So the first and easiest way to make connections in the industry is utilizing social media. You guys, you're scrolling all day long on your phone anyway, you might as well use it to your advantage. So one way you can utilize social media to connect with others in the industry is by joining Facebook groups. So when I first started modeling, I joined, or I guess when I first moved to New York, I joined Facebook groups that were like makeup artists in New York City, photographers in New York City, models in New York City, so that I could kind of watch what other people were doing in the city so that I could reach out to people if maybe I wanted to work with a new photographer or if I needed a makeup artist for a specific shoot. I would just go straight to that Facebook group, make a public post, and then people who were interested in working with me would either respond or connect with me on Instagram, and it would just spiral from there. So utilizing Facebook groups is a really helpful way to not only find people to work with, but find people who are maybe in the same boat as you. You have models that are like struggling to get signed. You have photographers who are looking to build their portfolio and want to use models for test shoots. And so you guys can kind of like mooch off of each other in a sense, and through doing that, you can actually make some pretty genuine relationships and connections. Utilizing Instagram is also super important. The way that I use my Instagram is I follow people that inspire me. I follow people who are where I want to be eventually. I follow people who maybe I would want to work with in the future, whether that be photographers, makeup artists, or even like clothing brands. So I follow people that kind of like fit the future that I'm creating for myself. So with Instagram, you can follow other models that live in the city or other models that live in the city that you want to move to or live in. You can follow models who are signed with the same agency or signed with an agency that maybe you aspire to be a part of one day. You can even follow modeling agencies to kind of get an idea of the kinds of models that they work with and to get an idea of if their models are working at all, because they post that stuff on their pages. You can follow casting directors. Again, you can also follow the photographers and makeup artists and other creatives in your city and just keep up with them. Watch what they're doing. Look at what other models are posting, see what kind of photo shoots other models are doing, and kind of pull inspiration from that. If you're going to be on your phone all day, if you're going to be scrolling on Instagram all day, you want to make sure that you're inspired by what you're seeing. You want to make sure that you are learning from your feed also. There are a lot of casting pages, especially for New York City, so people who find out about casting calls and post them on their feed. And sometimes in order to submit, all you have to do is send an email with some quick snapshots, or sometimes they'll post the date, location, and time, and you show up to the audition. And so those are really helpful, because if you're not signed to an agency, sometimes it can be harder to gain access to open casting calls because they sometimes can be a little bit exclusive, especially in New York City. So following these public casting accounts makes it easier for unsigned models to gain access to those casting calls that maybe they wouldn't have access to if they didn't follow the pages. I feel like I'm talking so fast. I don't know I don't know why I'm talking so fast. I hope you guys are like keeping up. Take notes. And of course, you can always utilize TikTok, whether you're posting videos of yourself so that people can get a better understanding of who you are and you can kind of build a following on TikTok. I feel like TikTok, as of right now, is the easiest platform to build a following. Like, I know so many people who started on TikTok and ended up getting offered modeling contracts just from consistently posting on TikTok. The industry is all about what you can sell, and if you have a large enough following on TikTok, like, they know that you have fans now, so to speak, and that you can easily reach like a mass audience, and that's what they're looking for. So if you can leverage TikTok, highly recommend. For me, it has been really difficult to be consistent with TikTok, because with TikTok, in order to like blow up, I feel like you gotta post like 3 and 4 times a day. And quite frankly, this may be an excuse, but I just can't give that much time to TikTok. I've had a couple of videos blow up on TikTok, which is how I've reached the amount of followers that I have now, which is only like 1,000 and something. But if I were committed to it and I was actually posting consistently, I would easily blow up. So my advice to you, leverage TikTok if you can. There are tons of models posting on TikTok. There are tons of modeling agencies posting on TikTok. So don't be afraid to like comment on a video, slide in their DMs. Speaking of sliding in the DMs, when you're joining these Facebook groups and you're following these accounts on Instagram and TikTok, that is not the end of the work. The work doesn't stop there. You need to put yourself out there and not be afraid to slide in someone's DMs. The worst that can happen is that you either get no response or they tell you no. So if, say for instance, you're in a Facebook group and a photographer is looking for models in the city to do test shoots with, and test shoots is really just like an exchange of services. So they will take photos of you, in exchange you will model for them, and it's a win-win. You both get new images in your portfolio. So say you see a photographer post in the Facebook group that they're looking for models to test with. You find that photographer's page on Instagram, you slide in their DMs like, hey, I saw your post in the Facebook group. I'm really interested in working with you. I would love to collaborate on a project in the near future. Let me know if you're interested. I look forward to hearing from you. So like I said, the work doesn't stop after you join the Facebook group. Like, you actually have to put in the work, reach out to these photographers, reach out to these makeup artists, put teams together, bring other people together. So if you know that this photographer is looking to shoot with models, find a makeup artist, pull her in. Find a stylist, pull them in, and create teams like that. And that way, not only are you connecting with other industry professionals, you're bringing other industry professionals together, and people remember that, and people will forever be grateful for that. And so that is how you kind of use these social platforms to build your network. And honestly, I feel like COVID kind of made us all a little bit socially awkward. At least for me, I've always been like a little socially awkward, or I'm not as like extroverted as many other models. And so social media has definitely been a major crutch for me, and like a little baby step towards socializing in the industry. So like, there are models that I've been following for years, have never met, but through communicating with each other on Instagram and supporting each other through Instagram, we've built up a bond that makes it feel like we've known each other like in real life. And then when we end up meeting in real life, we hit it off instantly because we've already created that relationship on social media. So social media just makes it a lot easier for everyone. So definitely leverage your time on social media, you guys. Don't just be endlessly scrolling for no reason. Have a purpose, have your vision, have your goals in mind, and utilize social media for that purpose. Another way to make connections in the modeling industry is talking to people on set. Even if you're freelance, sometimes you're able to be booked for jobs without a modeling agency, but whenever you're booked for anything, you make sure you communicate with the people on set. For me, I'm pretty shy, and like, if I don't know you, most of the time I'm really quiet, but over the past year, I've forced myself and pushed myself to talk to the other models on set, the other talent on set, the freaking directors, the photographers, the directors of photography. Like, I'm talking to everybody. I'm making sure everybody remembers my name and remembers my face. However, don't be obnoxious. There's a fine line between like talking just enough to be sociable and talking too much to where you're annoying and it kind of seems like you're trying too hard. So make sure you kind of play around with that balance and just find your equilibrium, if that makes sense. But you definitely want to talk to the people that you're working with. You want to connect with them on Instagram because they may post about future projects that they're working on, and because you now follow them and you've now met them in person and have had friendly conversation, they may be able to pull you on to their next project. So for instance, I'll give an example. I did a casting with a casting director maybe like a week ago, ended up booking the job, and just happened to see that this casting director was casting for another project for the same brand. And I had submitted for it, but I hadn't heard anything back. So when I worked with the casting director on set, I talked to her, and we had hit it off at the casting too. But when I actually went to set after I booked the job, I talked to her and I brought it up and I said, hey, I saw that you're casting for this other project, like I would love to be considered for that one too. And because I had socialized with everyone on the team and they liked me and I was friendly and I was bubbly, she was like, oh my god, yes, like just come to our office next week on this day, this time, blah, 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 and we'll take your photos and video. And had I not said anything, had I not talked to this casting director, I would have missed out on an opportunity. So it's super important to just have conversation with people. I know that it can be intimidating. I know firsthand that it can definitely be intimidating because for me, I don't know, it's just sometimes hard for me to talk to people, but you really have to put yourself out there because that can make all the difference in how successful you are in this industry. Another way to network and connect with other people in the industry is to utilize, outside of social apps, if you are a represented model in whatever city that you're in, there are certain apps that models can join where they have they post different events and different incentives, I guess, but you can only access those apps if you are signed. But for future reference, when you do get signed, because you are working toward that, these apps can be really helpful. Personally, I go to the events by myself. Just because I find that if I go with someone that I already know, I'm likely gonna just stick with them the whole time instead of branching out and mingling. And so my advice to you guys is to not be afraid to go to events by yourself, and not be afraid to talk to strangers, as I've been saying throughout this video. But they do post a lot of charity events. During New York Fashion Week, they have a lot of pampering events where you can just go get your nails done, get facials, eat, and socialize. And those are perfect opportunities for you to connect with other models. When I say to utilize Instagram and social media and things like that, those are opportunities for you to connect with people who are not models, like photographers, makeup artists, casting directors, all the other people in the industry. But these model-specific events are perfect for you to create your tribe of other models, because it's great to have friends outside of the industry. I think most of my friends are outside of the industry because honestly it's been hard for me to make models within the industry, to make model friends within the industry. But that's why it's so important to go to these events, because you're surrounded by models now and they know what it feels like to be a model. They know the trials and tribulations that we all go through, and it's easier to relate to other models, because you can talk to your friends about having a slow month of work and working with a photographer who was crazy or whatever, and they can empathize with you, but they will never fully understand. And that's why I feel like it's so important to create your tribe of people within the industry who have a better understanding of what you all are going through. Another way to network with other industry professionals or other people in the industry is going out to clubs. This has been difficult for me because I feel like I partied my life away in college, and then when I got older and moved to New York City, I was all partied out. I was exhausted. And people in New York will go out on a freaking Tuesday and just party until 5 a.m., wake up the next morning and go to work. I need my sleep. There are a couple of different ways you can go about this. A lot of models and or influencers are connected with promoters around the city. Now, the majority of promoters are male in New York City, and so that can be a little intimidating or scary or just annoying for female models to go out with male promoters, but we are seeing the growth of female promoters. So if that's something that you're more comfortable with, again, utilize Instagram and TikTok and Facebook to find female promoters that you would be interested in going out with. Now, if you're watching this video and you're asking what the heck is a promoter? Promoter is basically someone who makes their living partying, and they gather groups of pretty girls. So they're usually models or influencers around the city. They gather groups of pretty girls and take them to dinners. In groups, they take them to dinners and parties, and you get everything for free. You get your meal for free, drinks for free, sometimes transportation, and sometimes they even pay you to go. But 9 times out of 10, there's gonna be someone in the group who models, because it feels like every pretty girl in New York City is a model. That's just what it is. So yeah, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be in the group with another model, and that is a way for you guys to connect. You're gonna be in the group with another influencer, so that's a way for you guys to connect and make friends. And it's nice to be in the know with these promoters too, because a lot of times these promoters are going out every single day, every single week, and they're meeting tons and tons of people. So if you're connected with this promoter, that's 500 other people that you could potentially be connected with. So leverage, use the leverage of their social network and bring people into your network. Some promoters, unfortunately, are kind of creepy and like utilize their access to these parties and these free things to their advantage, and so sometimes you can find yourself in not so great situations. So the only thing with utilizing this method of building your social network is just to be hyper aware of your surroundings and who you're going out with. People are very vocal about their experiences with promoters, so if you are utilizing social media, like, you will likely see if a specific promoter has a bad rep, but that's just all about paying attention and doing your research. Finally, my last piece of advice for you guys is to go outside. Like, you cannot expect to build your words. You cannot expect to build your social circle. You cannot expect to build your network by staying in your apartment. You gotta go outside, you guys. You gotta go outside. Like, when I first moved to New York in 2019 and then the pandemic hit shortly after, a lot of people are gonna disagree with this, but even during the pandemic, I was outside. I was going to meetups, socially distanced meetups. We would go like BYOB in the park, picnics in the park, just walking around the city. Like, I was still outside because I was gonna go crazy if I stayed in my apartment, and I wouldn't have connected with a lot of the people that I'm friends with now. So you have to go outside. You have to put yourself out there beyond just scrolling on social media, beyond just connecting with people on Instagram. You have to go outside, make the plans, slide in this other model's DMs and say, hey, you want to grab lunch today? The worst they can say is no, or I'm not available. How about another day? But you made the effort, you made the initiative, and that's a step in the right direction. But you guys have to go outside, go to events, utilize the Meetup app. There are also a lot of model and photographer meetup groups on the actual Meetup app. Join some of those and connect with the people in there. For me, I would say it has been slightly difficult to make like genuine friendships in the modeling industry in person. Most of the connections that I've made within the industry have been social media and then have transitioned to in person, but as far as like connecting with people in person first, that part has been hard for me, which is okay because social media exists, and so there's no problem with utilizing it, which is what I've been doing. All in all, it's only as hard as you make it. If you put yourself out there and you're friendly and you showcase your authentic personality, your tribe will come. I feel like this was a pretty quick video. Thank you so much to the person who asked that question. I think that was a really good and helpful question, because sometimes we can be intimidated by other people in the industry, but we're all just humans. We're all just out here trying to make it. And honestly, I think people are more happy when you make the effort to connect with them than like acting snooty or acting bougie or like you're too good to talk to them. So like I said, put yourself out there and see what happens. But that's about it. That's all I have for you guys in this video. So if you like it, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. 'Cause I'm not just a pretty girl.